Hello, everybody. I'm going live on Wednesday, August 24th at 8, just after 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which makes that just after 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Haven't been live in a couple weeks, but I figured I'd come on live with everybody here. This is a temporary setup for me. I'm cleaning my camera up because I thought I saw some smudge. But I think I have some bad lighting right there. That's bad, guys. That is some bad lighting. Look at that light just come right down my face. Oh, well. You're going to have to deal with it, everybody. I'll try to stay off to one side. But this is a temporary living situation for me because I'm building a tiny house. If you haven't been on the channel before and don't even know what's going on, I'm building a tiny house. I've done a few vans. I participated in a show called Gutted Season 1. My dad says, nice apartment. Dad, where are you? Why don't you, do you want to come out and say hello? Hi from New Hampshire. Hey, Lindsay. Schooly Vibes, thank you. You love watching the tiny house build. My dad is on here right now, but he has been the one that's been helping me with the framing because it has been, he also said no thanks. I invited him to come out. Guys, you see that? No love for you guys. I'm just kidding. He's a little camera shy. He's better behind the camera. He's a good photographer, but he's probably pooped. It's 8 o'clock. Interesting. Indigo Ginzo. That's pretty cool. Do you have to be wealthy to afford a tiny house conversion? Because they seem comparable in price to a down payment. You know, I don't think you have to be wealthy by any means. I'm not wealthy. I'm wealthy in heart. You know, I'm wealthy in you know, in my mind, you know, but I'm not wealthy compared to, you know, others in the world, right? So I don't think, hey, what's up, Aaron Rodgers? I don't think that you have to be wealthy. I know a lot of people that have done this on a budget. If you follow my tiny house build, I'm going to be on the higher price structure or tier structure, whatever you want to call it, in regards to budget. It's going to be. Look, where's Glacier? Glacier. I just realized that she's like not here. Well, she's here, but I don't know where she's at. Hold on. You okay? Okay. She's on the couch, just hanging out. What I was saying was, I look angelic. You know, my tiny house is going to be like probably a little over the top. A lot of the things that I'm putting in are also sponsors. So there's a lot of product that I got a heavy discount on, or I got completely for free. So there is a lot of that's involved. But if you want to plug in like a tiny house to a grid, you know, it's a lot easier to save money that way. If you go try to make it off grid, which is what mine is, it's going to be a lot more expensive. You can add, you know, easily 10 to 30 grand just in off grid capabilities and solar panels and batteries and all that stuff. But in regards to like the trailer itself, the framing, you know, there are ways to cut corners. I wouldn't skimp on the trailer, which is the foundation of your home. So I would spend the money and get a really good trailer. I got mine from Trailer Made Trailers, and I got the frame kit from Trailer Made Trailers. But you can do your own framing. You can, you know, you can do a different type of insulation. I paid for spray foam insulation. So there are ways to cut the budget down, but you can probably do, depending on the size, you know, somewhere between 16 to 24 feet, somewhere in there. You can probably do a decent tiny house, DIY. I don't know, maybe 50 for maybe 50 grand. I would have to say that's including the cost of the trailer. So that's kind of that was just a random guess. I'd have to like if you were to ask me van stuff, I can answer it and I'd be very close to those numbers. But the tiny home world, I'm still getting very used to. The tiny house, budgeting and things like that, I'm still getting very accustomed to and trying to learn more about it. And I know a fair amount, but I feel like there's always room for improvement on my end and learning more. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can and share with as much as you guys. But I'm also completely honest with you guys. I'm not trying to steer away from anything that I'm like, that I can't. Steven, you said you asked me before about insuring a van. Is having a person like you or your partners easier? Maybe because of an LLC. I'm interested. So mine was the problem with my last van was professionally built. So I had an invoice and I was able to get it insured because it was professionally built. If you were to do a DIY build, you have to jump through some hoops. You have to make a lot of calls. You have to call around to a lot of insurance companies. But really, all you have to do is go to the DMV, and then switch the title over to an RV, a recreational vehicle, and then call up your insurance company and say it's now the DMV now sees it as an RV, and you can get RV insurance. And that's usually what most people do, and that's usually what I advise people to do. Stephen, let me know if that was kind of what you were talking about. If you were an LLC and you had Van Builder in your LLC, then technically, I'm not telling you to do this, but I guess technically you could make an invoice and you could show that it's a professional build. But I'm not telling you to do that. Steven, thank you. I guess I guess you're saying with your super chat right there that I did answer your question, but I appreciate it. I know that in regards to insuring my van, I did that in California, and it worked. My first van, I did that in California, and that worked beautifully. Shane Dennis just popped on. He is a extremely good van builder, Dogwood Conversions. And Shane, you've done a couple DIY builds before you went pro. Maybe you can also kind of put in the comments on, do you know of the secret way of insuring a van? Aaron, you said framing looks heavier in your video than it really is. I get it. The framing was a lot heavier than I expected. But you have to remember the walls that we were lifting up. If you go to my Instagram, you guys will see my father and I lifting walls up with a pulley system. Thanks to him, he put in a pulley system. He put in a pulley system, and we were able to lift the walls up, which is beautiful. It worked out great. I actually used the truck to hoist it, to use the weight, and we hoisted it up that way. But there was no way the two of us were lifting that up, because you have to prop the wall up and walk it up, and you have to use 3 to 4 people with the size of wall but that wall was probably, if the 24 foot, it was probably about 18 feet. I think was the larger one. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 18 to 20 feet, somewhere in there. It wasn't 20. It's about 18. About 18. And it's a big wall. It's heavy. The headers, they're very solid. They're very heavy. It's all steel. So it was pretty heavy. Do you know any rainwater recatching systems for vans? No, I don't. What you would probably have to do is you'd probably get you probably have to find a rainwater collection, system, and you probably have to retrofit it somehow to go into a van. I'm assuming it has to go through a filtering process. I'm assuming because you want it to go through a filtering process before it goes into your tank. Even if you have a filter after your tank, you still want it to go through. In my opinion, you'd want it to go through a filtering process to get all the stuff out. Because if it's landing on your van, then it's trickling into a gutter system, and then that gutter goes into the freshwater tank. I know somebody that did one, and it's fine, but you'd have to look into a guttering, rainwater collection system is how I would do it personally. But it's a lot of my assumptions is that's a lot of homework that I'm just not diving into right now. I think a lot of the cost when it comes to tiny houses is how high end you want. Absolutely, 1000%. T-less, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that so much. You think the Divine Wrath, you said you think the cost of the is when it comes down to the tiny houses is how high end you want to go. Absolutely, with the finishes. How high end do you want to go in with? Like, I'm using spray foam insulation throughout. Even though I'm really, really good friends with the people over at Havelock Wool, I have nothing against Havelock Wool. It's just with spray foam insulation, it's a lot better. I mean, it's not that Havelock is bad. It's not like that, rock wool. Well, I don't like rock wool, but other type of wool insulators or other type of insulators are bad. It's just that spray insulation is the best. Plain and simple, hands down. I would put it in a van if the return on my investment was worth it. Number one. Number two, I'd have to pay a professional to do it because the way that the technique of spray, and I just learned this, by the way, the technique of spray foam is has to be perfect, or it can mess up your wall panels in your van. There she is. VanLife retirement on hold, medical issues. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Victory Lap Life, excuse me. Shane, I did not forget that you are my bestie. I appreciate you. You are my bestie. See, Paolo, you said the Rivian R1T was one heck of an expensive winch. Luckily, I didn't use my Rivian R1T. I have another truck, and I use it as my work truck, and it is the Ford F-250. So I've been using that as a work truck, and the Rivian is just my Rivian. But no, that's a good point, though. And it actually worked out because the Rivian didn't have – oh, I guess it does have a front hook. But the Ford F-250 definitely has a front hooks. Stephen Bond, what is your what you asked? What is my next plan? And I'm going to get to your question, Stephen, in just 1 second. I'm going to answer the super chat first, which was by Victory Lap Life. Thank you very much. Illinois requires switch to. There's Glacier. You guys see her? Hi, sweetheart. She's going to get jelly because I'm talking to you guys. I'm not paying any attention to her. Illinois requires switch to RV title to be inspected by the state police. Yeah, so when you go to the DMV, they actually have to inspect it, said right there. They bring you to a side area, or like they just tell you to go over this area. An inspector comes out, they look at it, and it's like 3 points of inspection. It's like sleeping area, running water, and a toilet, I believe, are the typical inspections. Must have 5 to 7 requirements. Yeah, okay, I didn't read the rest of your thing. Fixed stall, walkable for driver's seat to rear, etc. Winnebago lobby, basement, all that. Yeah, so it's very similar. It depends on the state, from state to state. Everyone's a little bit different. California was, hate to say this, it was kind of a joke. I went in, opened up the sliding door. The inspector never even got in. She just looked at it and she's like, "Yep, this works." Signed off on it, and bada bing, bada boom. I was now an RV, so it worked out quite well. So, Steven, you asked, what are my next plans? My next plans are to finish the tiny house. You know, what I've learned over the last couple of years is I have goals. Okay. I have dreams and I have goals just like everybody else out there. But if I start verbalizing and saying them out loud, I get called out when I don't accomplish something. And I'm tired of dealing with the backlash of social media. When one of my goals and dreams when I started this channel 5 years ago was to build out a tiny house and get a piece of property. And I'm doing that. And it took me a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I'm still doing it. And I don't really want to say what my plans are in my head or what I have written down in a journal somewhere. It doesn't honestly matter. My goal right now is to finish the tiny house in a reasonable amount of time, which is a year, and purchase land and put the tiny house on said land and build my own personal shop space on that land. The reason I said all those things is because all of those things are already in motion. Now, whether or not I put multiple tiny houses on that land or I put van parking, whether I do another van in that new shop space, whether I start converting pallets into furniture, maybe I do all of the above. There are things in there that I have plans for, but I mean, one of the things that I would love to do is pick up an old Dolphin RV or old Sun Raider and retrofit those. Those would be freaking cool to me. Pick up an old T1N, gut it out, and redo it all, and that stuff is like fun for me. So eventually, but I can't do all of that until I have my own shop space. And yes, I am in a shop space now, but it's not mine. I lease it. I pay a lot per month on rent, and I'd rather build my own and own my own so I can do all that fun stuff on that piece of land that I'm looking for. And a lot of it is because of the girl behind me right there. So she has plenty of room to run around. Top Sprinter van customizer in the Pacific Northwest, 321 go. Yeah, I'm not answering that. That's not even fair because I have so many friends up there, and honestly, wouldn't be nomadic, would it? You know what? No, it's not. It's not that it would or would not be, and it's because it's kind of like that's like asking somebody what their favorite movie is. You got to pick a genre, right? So, like, if you were to say, "Hey, who's your favorite custom van builder?" Well, that would be Market Nomadic. He's a custom van builder. But if you were like, who's your favorite adventure van builder? Well, I'd probably go with Overland Van Project or Benchmark Vehicles. Both of those guys are really good, or those companies are phenomenal at what they do. So, yeah, I mean, it would just really depends on like adventure or if it was custom or more homey vibe or something like that. You, Kitty bite Megan, is that what it is? I see your dog in the background. Yes, she is there. Now she's sleeping. Look at her, sleeping puppy. We just went to the PARK and she's a little pooped out, so she's good. As you guys can see, I'm still a mess in the location I'm in. I've still got bins back there. I've got boxes. I am a mess. I am still living that nomad life, which kind of sucks and it kind of screws me up mentally, but I am good. Uncle Creepy's Cramper Van. Uncle Creepy's Uncle Creep. I read that as creepy. I'm sorry. It's not creepy, but I think you should change it to Uncle Creepy. I'm just kidding. Uncle Cheapy's camper van. I like the name. Saying hello from the Jersey Shore. Don't feed into the backlash from social media. You're an inspiring person, and I enjoy your videos. Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate you. Thank you for spelling out PARK. My dog would have wine for the next 30 minutes. You're welcome. I won't say the T word either, which is, oh my God, I had a brain fart on spelling it. I almost spelled something a little different, but I will not say that either. Although she should get one later. I can't wait to like share my designs of the tiny house with you. It's going to be, I don't know, it's a little crazy. Any van questions? Tinkle? No, TR. Oh, that's, yeah. Something you give a dog after they've done their business. There you go. There you go, Aaron. AMA is awesome. I'm using Killmat and Havelock on a Ram ProMaster. Would rather not use diesel, but propane for heat of my oven. Is moisture really a concern with the propane? Thank you. It depends on the part of the country you're in, but yes, it is absolutely a concern. You know, with Yeah, I mean, how else do you put it? It's a different type of heat. It definitely causes a lot of condensation. But if you use Havelock or if you use any antimicrobial type insulation, you should be fine. Just make sure that you protect the wood properly. You know. Quite any other questions? AMA, Laura, are you saying you like AMA, the company? After seeing the box truck, would you still go with a? Hey, Matt B, what's up? After seeing the box truck, would you still go with a van if you did it all over again? Did it all over again? No, I would do a van. Do it all over again. If I was to go back, I wouldn't change. I don't regret ever getting into a van. No, no, no. I think ask me anything. Got you. Ha ha ha. I think I love the progression of what van life is doing. As in, I think when I started into van life, and I'm really getting tired of the whole hashtag van life movement, but that's for a different day. But when I started doing my research way back in I want to say beginning of 2016, um, it was it was a lot different. The whole conversions of vans was like a new thing, and and then it evolved into what it is today, which is if I can convert a van, I can convert. Well, buses have always been a thing, right? But now I can do box trucks, I can do step vans, I can do containers were always a thing as well. But like you can do all these different things that are convert. People are converting the trailers now are really cool. Stephen Bond, your super chat, thank you so much. Transit versus Sprinter. If I had the money, I'd go with Sprinter. In my opinion, there's really no better van than a Sprinter. I just feel that the Sprinter is for van life. For van life, I think the Sprinter is so well designed and built. The German engineering of the van itself is amazing. The Mercedes Sprinter, the van like that, the Mercedes started making Sprinter vans a long time ago. They've really figured out the engineering aspects of everything inside and out of the van. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think you can't overlook it. They figured out the 4x4s are great. The Transit all-wheel drives are really not doing that well. There's actually a recall on them. Actually, if Shane is still on, he actually sent me an article to them doing a recall, I think on the 2020s or the 2021, whatever the first year of the all-wheel drive Transits were. I think Transits have their own pros just as well as the Sprinters have their own cons. Did I just freeze? Am I good? Oh boy. I'm like lagging. Am I okay? We good? Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you. I'm like, it's lagging on my end, which is weird. My computer should take it into Apple and have them fix it. There's too much crap on here. So I think they both have their own sets of pros and cons. Transit and Sprinters, even ProMasters too. I just think that the amount of pros on a Sprinter outweigh their cons in comparison to a Transit. There's a whole list of why I would pick Sprinter, but I feel like they're the easiest van to build in. But when in regards to like long-term price, you can't go wrong with a Transit. That's a huge con in my eyes of the Sprinters. Like to maintain a Sprinter is going to cost you a lot more over a 10-year span or a 5-year span than maintaining a Ford Transit. It's just an apples and like you can't compare those. Travel Addict, you asked me what are some good websites you recommend to buy a potential van? Are we talking Travel Addict? Are you talking about a pre-built or a van that you can build out yourself? Just a van empty. Let me know, and then I'll answer your question for you. What are your thoughts on the dually tires on a Transit? You know, I was never a fan of dualies. I just felt like it was another added thing there, like an extra wheel or two, one on each side. But I never saw the purpose of it. There have been, I just had a long conversation at one of the festivals I was at with Boulder Camper Vans, and they had a dually, and they've driven the dualies, and it was a 4x4, and they loved it. Now, I always thought negatively about the dualies, but I also haven't driven one in interesting roads, so I don't really know. I always thought the purpose of a dually was payload. It can hold more weight. So if you are looking to put a lot of weight in the back, like if you were looking to like put your motorcycles back there, then maybe that would make sense to do something like that. But I always didn't think there was a purpose to have a dualies, but that's just me. LJ, have you seen all the Rivian roof glass tops suddenly cracking and breaking? Apparently highly delicate at best. I haven't. That was the first I've actually heard of it. You just typing it just now. Maybe because of heat, humidity, weather changing, maybe people throwing stuff on it. I don't know. But I haven't heard anything about it, no. I've been watching and dreaming of van life since 2018. It's changed so much. I have my 80-year-old dad with me, and it's just a dream for now. You know what? That's just for now. It's okay. You know, I know people that have gotten into this at all stages of life. What would be the advantage of tiny house trailer over raised roof bus or similar length? I love this question because I almost did a raised roof bus. I'm going to answer Travel Addict before I answer you, Yo Budman. And then I'll get to your GJ. A van you can build out yourself. Where like honestly, local dealers, anywhere, Travel Addict, anywhere you can have a local dealer that you either can finance or buy cash. Just, you know, Craigslist, you know, really, I would go through a dealer. Now, if you're looking for like a used van, it's going to take a lot more work. It's going to take a lot more due diligence on your end, a lot more homework. Carvana and CarMax and Craigslist and anywhere to really purchase a vehicle. You're going to have to do some driving around and finding stuff. I mean, you can widen your search, but, you know, there's a lot of other states that have different deals, but buying a car out of state, depending on the state you're in, like if you are in California and you're trying to buy a vehicle out of California, it gets really, really difficult. For some reason, California is weird like that, and they want to try to own everybody. So to purchase a vehicle, yeah, it's a mess. So I would go locally, just stay locally, just buy locally, and that's how that works for me. I've always bought mine through dealers. I always felt that like they are going to go through it, and yeah, that's my 2 cents. So Yo Budman asked, what would be the advantage of a tiny house trailer or a raised roof bus similar length? So I was going to do a bus, but a bus, you have to be a mechanic for a bus. That would be a massive, you know, pro or con, depending on how you look at it, right? I would say the price, right? When I started looking at buses, because that was going to be my next project, was a bus, not the tiny. And I started looking at pricing, and with the market, the way that it was going, it was just kept on going up and up and up. And for me to buy a bus and then do a roof raise, it was going to be right around 25 grand. and then that would just give me the shell, right? And then I'd have to build out the whole inside. And it wouldn't have given me the same space from floor to ceiling. I might have the same length, but not floor to ceiling. Floor to ceiling in a tiny house, I'm looking at like, almost 11 feet. I'm 10 foot 11 inches on one of the sides, and I'm like a little bit further down because I got a pitch. So I have a lot of room. You can put lofts in there. You can have open floor plans. You can do a lot with a tiny house on a trailer. I was planning on doing a bus and then putting on a piece of land like I'm doing with my tiny. So I didn't want to even take my bus really anywhere. I was just going to park that thing and go or be with it. But with the pricing the way that it was, I just felt that a trailer, and me to erect it myself and design it myself and put windows where I wanted to, made a lot more sense to me than doing a bus with a raised roof. I love buses with raised roof, though. I just, like 4 years ago, 3 years, even 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, I could have got a beautiful 40-foot bus for like $4 to $5 grand. And now they're going for like 15. I mean, that's absolutely just ridiculous in my opinion. So I went with a trailer. That's all. Because hopefully, Budman, hopefully that answered your question for you. Nico Jones, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. You said you've been wanting to start van life and saw my van versus box truck vid, and I want the box trucks now. What would be best box truck that would be? The one in that video, I forget what the size was, 16-footer. But I think that whatever really suits your needs. If you're not worried about parking it, go as big as you want. This is like all this, like that kind of a question is a personal preference kind of a question. For me, I don't know. I would go with a slightly smaller box truck, so it would be a little bit easier to maneuver around, the cities. Maybe a 14-footer, maybe a 12-footer. Also take a look at step vans, Nico Jones. Take a look at step vans. Step vans are like what, FedEx and USPS and UPS, what those people drive they're called step vans. I think mostly because they're just like a step off the ground. I think that's what that is. Let's see here. What is your favorite state to reside in for van life? What are the reasons for you to relocate to another state? Stephen Bond, great question. Favorite state to van life in? Oh, geez. I mean, I don't really enjoy this. Weather-wise, you can't beat San Diego because it's perfect weather year-round. But van lifing in San Diego sucks. Like, it's just horrendous. There's not a lot of parking. There's a lot of traffic everywhere. You potentially getting tickets. But the actual, like all that aside, you've got the beach, you've got the mountains, you've got a lot of other van life friends, that kind of stuff is really awesome. In the summer months, even in winter, actually, Oregon is beautiful. There's a lot of, BLM land, the Bureau of Land Management. There's a lot of that land all throughout the Western states, from California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. Idaho is actually probably, if you were to pick a state, probably the best, or Montana. But again, the winter can be rough up there. Let's see, Colorado. Colorado, for me, again, that's a personal thing because I don't really need beaches, but the mountains of Colorado are absolutely stunning. But now I'm back east, and I do love it here. I love the East Coast. I love the people on the East Coast. In my opinion, they're a little more real. Um, I think I just think the East Coast vibes fit more with me and my personality than West Coast, and nothing against the West Coast vibes. It's just a little bit different. Um, and I was West Coast for like 17 years, and I lived in tons of different cities and everything else. So, what seasons do you relocate? That's what you were asking. To other states. Yeah. So obviously, summer months you go north. Winter months you go. Yeah, winter months you go south. It's like how the birds are. We eventually use your Rivian as a getaway camper to build out another personal van. Or build out another personal van. A problem. TBD, to be determined. Um, I originally had an idea that I was going to have a van for long distance travel, like if I ever go to shows or something along like that. Especially if I want to bring her with me. But I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna play that one by ear. I don't know yet. I can't answer that because I don't know. Right now, I have 2 more shows coming up, and I booked plane tickets for both of them. So right now, I'm enjoying the quick travel, come right back. You know, I can go right back to work. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But things could change next week for all I know. Maybe. I mean, guys, I might build out a van and just start doing stand up comedy again. I don't know. I don't know. Would you guys like me to do that? I think you're going to say whatever makes you happy, Jared. And that's right. Owning a van today is a target for theft. LJ, I kind of disagree with that. I keep reading threads about West Coast vans getting broken into everywhere. Yeah, you know what happens? I think the West Coast right now, it's weird. I think West Coast and East Coast. I had this conversation last night with somebody where the West Coast is kind of down right now, and the East Coast is thriving. Well, 20 years ago, it was kind of the opposite. The West Coast was thriving, and the East Coast had a lot of crime. So it goes back and forth, guys. It's just. I mean, the crime's not going to last forever. They're gonna figure that out, or people are gonna start taking matters in their own hands. Which company would you recommend for one to buy a van home for considering the buying price? That is a severely open-ended question, and there's no way that I'm going to be able to answer it. Walter, I charge people $100 to have a consultation for me to talk to them for an hour about all of their wants and needs and all that stuff. And the reason that is because it takes us an hour to figure out exactly what you want and what you need, because somebody might want to go to Nomadic Customs and have a very fully customized van specific to their needs, which is going to cost a lot of money. Or you could go to another company that just does a CNC kit build out of Adventure Wagon or whatever and pay a little bit less. Or neither one of those might be in your budget, and you may have to find a backyard builder, which is or startup van builder, which is somebody that's kind of getting into van life now or van life building now, and they can't charge as much as the other top tier companies, so they're priced more accordingly. And unfortunately, those people come up every other week, so I can't even suggest them right now because there's a new person every other freaking week. What's the big? I'm gonna try and catch up here, guys. What is the biggest challenge for you faced so far in life, or what's my biggest challenge you have faced? My biggest challenge is that puppy right there. There you go. Boom. Raising her by myself. I'm just kidding. She's been a blessing. I don't know. Biggest challenge? Overcoming my receding hairline. I telework in Hawaii. That's pretty cool, by the way, Jesse. Cost of living is crazy. I can imagine you're on an island. I would like to van life I can't ever say his name, but yeah, Trent. or even box van. How is trying to ship a converted van to Hawaii, to or from Hawaii? I don't know what the shipping cost is. I know it's possible, but see if there's a company out in Kauai, and they're called Kauai camper vans. See if they have any like old camper vans they're selling off. You know, there must be people in Hawaii, the islands, that have vans that they're looking to sell. So instead of shipping it from, the 48, try and ship it from locally in your islands. That might be a lot easier. I don't know. That's just kind of an idea that I threw out. Would you rather burp every time you lean in for a kiss or drool every time you talk? Oh, I love those kind of questions. I love those kind of questions, like that game, whatever that game is called. Would I rather burp every time I go for a kiss or drool every time I talk? Because I don't kiss very often, because I don't have anybody in my life. I'm turning red. I guess I would rather burp every time I lean in for a kiss. Because drooling every time you talk, I talk a lot in my YouTube videos and life. I just like to talk. Drooling, can't do it. So I don't mind burping as long as my partner's okay with it. At least I can explain to her that I burp every time I'm going to kiss you. How much did your trailer and frame kit cost? Ted, that is a great question. Did that include delivery or did you pick it up at the factory? Thank you so much for asking that question, Ted. The trailer and frame kit, I believe, together were about $18,000. That did not include delivery. They sent me a quote for delivery, which was ridiculous. Not ridiculous. It was their quote. I get it. And they actually, instead of them saying we're going to ship this out and it's going to cost this much money, they gave me another suggestion, which was a company called UShip, and UShip is like Uber for big shipments. And I put it on there, and somebody picked up my bid, and because you throw out a number, and so I had it shipped over. Somebody delivered it for me from Colorado. I originally was going to pick it up myself, but I estimated that it was going to cost me a lot of money to drive out there, pick it up, and drive it back, and then time. So I paid an extra $3,000 for delivery, but yeah, it was worth it. It was all worth it. The frame kit was worth it. Looking back now, like it was all just worth it. I don't know how else to say that, but I think it's a 24-foot trailer, and I believe it all together was $18,000 plus the three. Yeah. Nope, she moved. Walter, he's the biggest challenge in life. There's a lot. This is something that maybe a lot of people don't know. When I was 19, I had surgery and I had a type of cancer that luckily, very fortunate, did not spread, but I had the surgery, but I had, during the first like 5 years, I had to go through rigorous testing and to see if it would spread. And that was probably one of the hardest like things in my life. But I was also very lucky that I was 19 years old, because at 19, if anybody is that age or obviously has gone through that age, knows that, or, at 19, you think you are indestructible. You are, a teenager, young adult, and you're like, whatever, dude, like, I'm good. I got this. And that was a mental, it helped me out mentally to be that young, is trying what I'm saying. I was so young and naive. Like, it was just an amazing, like, I was thankful for that. Not thankful for, going through what I had to go through, but that was probably one of the hardest things I had to go through. Yeah. Trying to think what else. I'm sure there's going to be more though, Walter. That's a good question though. Do you think van life building is saturated, like oversaturated? Too many new builders? Is it still profitable for new peeps? The life of Rick. Great question. And to answer it simply, yes. I do believe there's too many builders. And I actually, even before there were too many builders, I said this, that I don't believe van building is all that profitable. You can make good money, sure, but there's a lot of I am a type of person. If I have a product, I want it to be. I can't give it to the client unless it is top quality. And there's a lot of newer van builders that don't care about quality, that just put the product out to make that money. And that is what's disheartening to me, because I don't want to see upset people getting into this lifestyle and community with a crap product, to say the least. Is that, hopefully that makes sense, Life of Rick, excuse me. What happened to the rest of the gutted episodes? I only see 2 so far on Blank Space. No, all 5 should be on there. I've watched it several times because I love watching myself. I'm just kidding. That's weird. Kerry, excuse me. They should all be on the Blank Space app. But if they are not, I will text the producer right now and ask him, what the heck? What does my shirt say? It's a sun flare. It's the Explorer. The company is called Sunflare. I don't pay for a lot of t-shirts. I get them given to me quite often. And Sunflare was a company I worked with a while ago, and they gave me a few t-shirts. Just being honest, guys. Just being honest. I went to the gym. I'm wearing sweats right now. I went to the gym. I'm trying to lose the weight that I put on the last couple of years, us being inside and not being active. So I was at the gym earlier and I was editing a video, and then I realized, you know what, I'm gonna go live, and I've been live for almost an hour, 45 minutes. Okay. Dustin Stewart. I'm disabled and I'm wanting to find a van. 39. I'm 39, almost a year in remission. Awesome. Am I lonely? Tom, no, not at all. But I'm not in a van right now, everybody. I got a lot of friends and family around me. I'm not lonely at all. And honestly, if you asked me that years ago, I would have said yes, buddy. Tom, I would have said yes. But you almost have to force yourself into loneliness to understand or appreciate the value of being alone. I don't know how else to say that, really. But you really have to you have to love to be alone before you understand loneliness. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I'm not a philosopher, but if I was, it would be something along those lines. Was the purpose to get your tiny home? Flickering of lights. Was the process of your tiny home difficult? A lot of tiny home owners never seen to dive into that aspect, but reading online, it seems to be very difficult to do. No, it's really easy. But with that being said, I went to a company that specializes in tiny house trailers. There's I don't know how many throughout the country, 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever there are. But I went to probably the top producing trailer company for tiny homes, and that is Trailer Made Trailers. And they are so busy, and because they don't just make them for DIYers, they make them for professional companies too. They're trailers, right? So they were, I don't know how many they make per month, but this is a lot of welding, it's a lot of machinery, it's a lot of cutting, and it's a lot of this and everything else. So they're doing a lot. So they probably don't care about a customer until the check is written. Now, I will say, I paid full price. I did not get a discount. I will also say, they did take my call every single time, and they did answer every question I had before I gave them money. So their customer service was good all the way through. Even before I gave them money, after I gave them money, it didn't matter. But I use Trailer Made Trailers. There's a couple other companies out there that does this, but I felt that it was really easy, to be quite honest with you. And I can do a video on that, but it was like not really much to it. Like you go to their website, you call them up, you send them a quote. I didn't know what size I wanted. That's probably the biggest thing. When you are designing a tiny home, you have to know everything that you want. Like right now, I'm getting to the process of the tiny house where I need to know my electrical layout. I need to know where the switches are going to go. I need to know where the lights are going to go, the outlets, the kitchen countertop, where those outlets are going, which circuits are going to which. So all of those things I need to know, and I should have been more prepared, but I'm not because it's me. That's how I roll. All right. Travel addict. Oh, that was you. Okay. LJ, you responded to Tom, and you said, "I have Jared has the luxury of peace and quiet and peace, quiet and freedom. No nagging. I would think he is not lonely, especially he is near his family. Absolutely. LJ, you said it. Like I'm near family now, and I wasn't even lonely on the West Coast either. I was around friends, or I was amongst friends, and I was never really lonely. Lonely was never my problem. Well, it was years ago, but not now. So are you? So you're not saying it's oversaturated, just oversaturated with new people, and the quality may suffer. Um, yeah, I think there's plenty of business to go around, right? I am just Pam 24K. I am just worried of the quality of work that's out there. And that's like any industry, right? There's the real estate market is the same way. If you were to, or like the construction industry, right? And you can even break it down to subcontracting too, right? So mechanic work, car work, right? Finding a mechanic is like finding a good van builder now. This discussion would have been different 2 years ago. But now it's like you have to go to these people and you have to go with your gut feeling almost. How do you feel that you vibed with that company and that person? Because now, so if anything, it's really a consumer's market because now there's so much like options, so many options. You don't have to go with Joe Schmo or Jane Doe that owns XYZ company. Because now it's like, well, there's 4 companies in this one town, or in regards to Portland, there's like, I don't know, 25, van builders, whatever there is. So there's so many options out there. A quality of work is a big thing for me. Tiny home issue, getting the land. Yeah, 100%. I have started the research. I've actually made a few phone calls. I've done my own due diligence. I've talked to, I think, 3 realtors. I haven't I haven't gone to the properties themselves, but I probably am not going to YouTube them and show them on vlogs because I don't want to get people's hopes up. I knew going into this that finding the land is going to be it could take me months. I know that my tiny house isn't going to be done until next year. If it is done before I get the land, then I do have a backup plan, but I don't want to use that backup plan. So I think having a backup plan of where to put the tiny is something that you might want to do, but I don't think I'm going to have to. And I think I'll be able to buy some land before that. Elvis Travels, you said, "Hey, bro, what's up, dude? You've been living van life for over 7 years. That's pretty awesome." Tom Z, "Wherever you sell your Rivian? If so, you'd take it." Tom Z, the question was, would I ever sell my Rivian? Yes, I absolutely would. And for various reasons. But I'll let you know. How's that? I'm excited to see. The Rivian R1T is what I have. The Rivian R1S is the SUV. Then they have the van, and then their fourth vehicle is really what I'm excited to see. They said it's not coming out until 2024, so I'm excited to see what happens there with that, or what that looks like, because that is something that I would be interested in. They also said it's going to be cheaper, and I have stock in Rivian now, and I'm wearing a Rivian hat. Okay, so Carrie, yes, they only have 2 on the YouTube blank space. But if you go to the blank space app, download the app, it's completely free and you can watch. They told me they were only gonna put the first 2 episodes on YouTube. They wanted people to go to their app, which again, it's a free app. Everything is free. I don't know how they're making money, but if you go to the either Apple or Google Play stores and you download Blank Space, the app, you can just log in with your email or create an account with your email, and everything is just simple as can be. And the reason I also say use the app is because there's going to be a lot more features on the app than you're going to get on YouTube. They're going to be releasing all of the full interviews. Like those interviews that you saw on the Gutted show, they were only snippets. Our interviews were like 30 minutes long. And they went into some serious depth. So, my voice was breaking up. I'm sorry. I'm going to be calling this quits here soon. I didn't realize it's been an hour. But I love you guys. And I love doing lives like this. This is why I haven't been doing lives, because I know that I'm going to be on here till, I can do this all night. This is fun and easy for me. I love none of this stuff. Yo, Tachi. What's up, Busty? Butsy? Any recs on type of best used van, works van, shuttles, Penske, etc.? The internet? Best websites? I mean, I just use Craigslist. I don't know. What is everybody's gripe with Craigslist? Is there not? Is there not a good thing with, like? I don't know. I've always found vans. My Ford Econoline that I had, my last van, that was off of Craigslist. Boom. And I was in a major city. I was in Las Vegas. Jersey style. I just sold my Tesla Model. I never said I didn't like it. I love the Rivian. I love it. By far the best car I've ever owned. By far. Corey Holt. Okay, well, that is your opinion. To each their own. I had fun. Maybe give it a second chance. We're excited to see 4-season family van builds on the new super high roof ProMaster, ideally using overhead area as a sleeping loft. Okay. Carrie, you're welcome. Would you consider below the window roof raise? Jersey style. Why are you hating on the Rivian? You just sold your Tesla. And LJ, there you go. Let's get on Jersey style here. Why'd you sell your Tesla, huh? I don't know. I'm not a professional roof raiser in the bus world, so I'm sure there's a reason why they do a roof raise where they do it. But what would be the purpose of doing a roof raise below the window? I don't know. The reason they do it where they do it and how they cut the window and they bring it up there, it just makes the most sense from an engineering standpoint, like structurally, because then you can also put on sheet metal panels, etc., and so forth. So, LJ, you also have a good point with Corey there. There isn't nothing wrong with it. It's probably just a teenager. Don't worry about it. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you. Guys, a couple more questions here until I finish out the live. It's been a beautiful time with you guys. I think I should start drinking on these lives. That's just like a juice. That's not an alcoholic beverage. Last couple questions, guys, and then we're going to call it a night. Would I consider land in Baja California? I probably wouldn't consider land in California, period. The only land is Baja near Baja California. Is that near Joshua Tree? The only land I would consider is out there, but it's way too deserty and way too hot for me. I don't really want to be desert. I would rather be mountains. So like if Big Bear or but I just there's a lot of California laws that I'm really not down with. So in regards to zoning laws and stuff like that, and I don't know. I love certain aspects of California. Just there's some things I don't like. Just like any other state, you know. Now it's saying my connection is unstable. Whoa. Whatever. Now you're saying Baja, Mexico. I wouldn't. I'd do a vacation land there, a vacation home. I'd get a condo in like a place like that. That's what I would do. I wouldn't get land in like a Baja, Mexico, but I'd go and visit. Like like I said, but I'd go like the lower peninsula of Baja. I forget what it's called down there, but it's cool. Michael, you said each live you could choose a different drink. Yeah, that would be cool, actually. Rick from Mass. What up? Would you consider an EV van for van life? Yeah, the life of Rick, absolutely, 100%. I think we are still, I would say 2025 until we are like able to do that. In regards to efficiency and also the charging networks to be infrastructure wise up to par with what we need them to be. I do believe Rivian has announced that they are coming out with an adventure camping rig by 2025. So from what I understand, 24 or 25, I forget which one it was. They haven't released any images, even though people have been throwing these images at me. That was a concept done by, I think, Motor Trend. But they have announced that they are doing it according to Motor Trend. So I think that's exciting. Walter, you're welcome, because you said, thank you very much for sharing this today. In YouTube and Instagram, van lifers make van life look like they are living the dream. But today, I actually want to read this one out loud. I'm going to take my time with it. So I'm going to go back and read your comment. But you said, thank you for sharing this today. In YouTube and Instagram, van lifers make van life look like they are living the dream. But today you have clearly stated the cons and pros. Thanks a bunch. You are very welcome. And I wholeheartedly agree with you. There are somebody was talking about oversaturation in van building. I think there's an oversaturation of what the actual van life is. And I feel like there's a lot of beauty and amazingness to van life and full-time living. But I am now getting word through my contacts that there are people that are on social media, whether it's Instagram or TikTok, and they are not even living in a van, yet they're posting about van life. As you guys can see, I never said that I was ever full-time in a van. I stopped being full-time 2 years ago, and I said that when I was not in a van. And it's really upsetting to me that people are still, taking advantage of people like, the audience, right? But it is what it is, and I'm sorry that you guys have to go through that. Something else that came to my mind, and now I forget what it was. It was during my spiel. You guys were having a fight. I was trying to read. Oh, wow. What's going on here? About 90% done with the Econoline build here in Colorado Springs. Awesome. How many zoning issues will be solved choosing bus over tiny house trailer? Uh, oof, uh, where I'm looking, there are really not that many zoning issues, to be honest with you. However, you park a bus on a piece of land and a tiny house trailer on a piece of land, and your neighbors are close enough, which I'm probably not going to have that issue, but your neighbors are close enough. See which one gets the call first. My guess is a bus is going to get a call on the authorities first, then a tiny house build. I think so. Justin and Christina's RV van life. Yeah, and I'm not saying that people don't do it or can't do it. I've met many people like yourselves that are full time with families, even. And I think it's, like I said, beautiful and crazy and amazing. And I love it. I did it. I was full time for 3.5 years. What I'm saying is the market and what is being shown on social media, especially TikTok, is really troublesome to me of lately. There is somebody, I'm not going to say their name, that is legitimately regurgitating all of the videos that I've pretty much done, and another one of my friends. They're literally taking the videos that we've done from like years past and just redoing them and even copying our thumbnails. And this person is self-proclaiming themselves as a name. I'm not going to say it because then you guys might know who I'm talking about. And I'm like, just be original. Like, you really have to. You really cannot be that original that you have to take other people's ideas. Like, I get that no idea is original. That's fine, and I'm with that. But like, tweak it a little bit more than flat out copying somebody. That's like plagiarism. It's like change it a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, LJ, I was full time for 3.5 years. Corey, you are how do I put this? A hater? Yeah. But it's cool because you were up here earlier saying stuff about gutted, and you're saying I'm not original. Yeah, I just said to you, no poo poo, I'm not original. I just said that. But I also said I'm not flat out copying people and using their videos and taking their thumbnails. So you're LJ, you're a troll. Rick S, I appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. I'm getting tired if I can't even remember words, so that's not good. Tell to Christy R. Yeah, I would report anybody. It's okay. Rick S, thank you so much. Laura and LJ, I appreciate you guys having my back. Don't worry, he's just a troll. And let him be. He wants to be heard. That's all that is. I mean, if he wants to live, I think it's a male. I could be wrong, but If they want to live miserably in their life and troll on others and try to make themselves feel better about themselves by saying less about other people, then I think we should maybe feel bad for them. Okay. Anyone living their van on an acre or their own land without zoning issues? Times are tough now, and I have to start somewhere. Walter, say hi to Shaden Valentine for the fans. What's up, Shaden? Although I'm going to see him in a few weeks. I'm going to Tiny Fest, which is in Pleasanton, California, which is just outside of San Jose. But I'm actually flying to San Diego first. I'm doing a couple things there for a day. And then I am driving north to Pleasanton to go to the event. While I'm in San Diego, I have all intentions of seeing Shaden. And I don't think he has another van for me to tour, but I will definitely link up with him and say hello. And I don't know, I'm going to try to also see Buck SD as well. I've got a lot of people that I need to see in less than 24 hours while I'm in San Diego. So it's going to be a little tough, but something I can do or hopefully do. Walter, you're not cool. To Corey, not Walter, you're cool. That was just funny. LJ, thank you so much that you were saying I was original. Yeah, I mean, you know what though, LJ and everybody else, that person, I just obviously did not go back to my videos from back in 2018 and see that my originality and how I did my tours were way different. The videos I were doing about stealth parking, I was one of the first. I'm not saying I was, but there's a reason why one of the pioneers of VanLife was like, called me up while I was living in my van outside of a police station and was like, I want you to come and speak at my event. And that was the first event that I did in 2018, which was the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous by Bob Wells. Like, the reason why. Who hurt you? Super chat. Thank you so much, Jared. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. You met me in Santa Cruz last time. I'll see you in Pleasanton. Awesome. I'd have to see your face because if I saw your face, I'd probably recognize you. I can't really tell with the small little icon right there. But awesome. I can't wait to see you. Come by. I met you in Santa Cruz. That must have been way back when I was doing my second van. That was back in 2019, I believe then. Was that you with the van? Is that you? Farn? Am I saying this name correctly? Farn? Was that you with the van that we saw on the ocean that had the cigarettes as a prop? Was that you with Tiny Watt Solar? Yeah, I was with Tiny Watt Solar. We were like just chilling there. Was that you? Fun you. That was you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for still being here and coming on to the live. Guys, I don't think you guys, I'm going to end it here because I can't end it any better than this. Fun you. Thank you so much. Yes, the stealth van. Fun you had one of the nicest, most coolest stealth vans that I saw. We met them. It just randomly out in the middle of Santa Cruz. We're watching the sunset one night with Wes and his wife Savannah, and I don't know who else was out there with us, but fun you. I love you, man. I love you. You were a joy to talk to, and it was really awesome that after all these years you were able to keep in touch. I would love for you to come to Tiny Fest in Pleasanton. Sounds like you're going to be there. My van is a hack job. No, it is not. Your van was awesome. I loved it. You did all the stealth maneuvering. Are you still full time? I know that. I love how we're having a conversation right now. This is great. This is great. This is awesome. Corey, there was not a bunch of old women at the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, and that is not my claim to fame. You really know nothing about me. I'll tell you what, send me an email. Let's meet up and have lunch. And then you might actually learn something about life, about who I am. You know nothing. What are you, 17? You can try and troll me all day, but you're not going to get anywhere. Fun you, you bought a house after saving all the money of living in a van. Love it, buddy. Love it. I love that for you, man. I really do. It sounds like you're still in the area if you're thinking about coming to Tiny Fest. I respond to trolls because I'm not. Okay, I'm going to put this simply for you, Corey. I used to be a bully. And the only way, in my opinion, to take down the cyberbullying or the trolls is to fight fire with fire. That's my opinion. A lot of people don't like it that way. But I respond to trolls because I don't think that you deserve to be trolling. Because I have thick skin, but there's people that don't have thick skin. And the people that actually know VanLifers know that we actually had a VanLife family member take their own life because they were getting trolled on the internet. Now, I'm not. I have that person, unfortunately, was not mentally stable, and we all know that. But that person we all loved and adored in our community. But because of the trolls, that person had to do that and go to that extreme. Now, I will push back against the trolls because of those reasons. Because I don't believe that you people deserve what you're trying to do. So, yeah, I'm going to come after you. I'm looking directly in the camera. I'm not even looking at the comments right now because I don't even care. Because I will fight back every single time. I'm not going to step down. I'm not gonna lay down. I'm not going to back down. I'm gonna step up and I'm gonna say something. And you ain't gonna walk through me. That's plain and simple. For that comment, because I just went through the comments, email me. I'd love to meet with you. I'd love to. Oh, if I wasn't online right now. It's all good. I don't need a moderator. I know I could have one. I know I could make a bunch of you guys moderators. I don't need one. Doesn't bother me in the least. The only reason I stayed on an extra 20 minutes is so I could fight this person back. Fun you, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. The only person that is the only thing that is suffering right now is this my angel right here behind me. I'm not getting any snuggles in with her, that's all. 9:30, where I'm at right now. Yes, Kara and Christy R. Speak up for Lee. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, our gutted van is going to be auctioned off here shortly. And the proceeds are actually being donated to a foundation that was started by the Lee family. So, yeah, that whole story definitely hits differently for me. Yes, depressed. I'm sorry. You're right. Joan Hall. Yes, absolutely. Most people are. Yes, was not mentally unstable. It was more depression than anything. You're absolutely right. I was just kind of firing. I was kind of going off the cuff there. So I apologize for not saying the right words, but the depression's a real thing. Absolutely. Not mentally unstable, but you could technically say that depression is a type of um, mental block. No, I'm not donating the funds. I put my time into it. The van itself is owned by the gutted people. However, they are going to be, from what I understand, auctioning it off. Stumbled onto RV piece with you covering the FedEx conversion. Really well done. Yeah, that was John. Good guy. Really awesome dude, actually. Um, Sabrina, I'm about to get off. Been on it for an hour and 20 minutes. Where have you been? But no, John did a great job. Followed Trent and Alley's floor plans to a T, but did a really good job. Spent the right amount of money that he needed to spend, and lives full time out of that. Wanted to be a helicopter pilot. Geez, that was over a year ago. I believe he is a full time helicopter pilot now. He really awesome dude. You can follow him on Instagram, Stepvan88 or 88 Stepvan, one of those. Oh, guys, it says my voice is breaking up again. So I'm going to get off here, guys. Thank you guys again. Fun you. Really awesome seeing you again or hearing from you again. Have a good night, everybody. And I will see you guys next time. All right. Later.